71 Chapter 71 Fighting for First Place, the Only Speed Skill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 71 Fighting for First Place, the Only Speed Skill. After dodging the first small ball, Su Mao revealed a relaxed expression. There's no difficulty at all. Hurry up and activate the second machine, Su Mao said proudly, and then easily dodged the consecutive balls. Very soon, the second machine was activated. Two small balls flew at Su Mao consecutively, causing him to feel a slight struggle. Tisk, it's still nothing much to me. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead, and his breathing became heavier. He had used up nearly half of his stamina. The instructor nodded his head in admiration. Not bad, finally an outstanding freshman. If you persevere, you'll definitely be able to last until the third machine. Seeing this, the surrounding freshmen couldn't help but sigh. As expected of the direct disciple of a master. His strength is indeed stronger than all of us. I have long learned that a renowned master took Su Mao as his disciple. Now, we can finally see the results of his learning. The first place should be him, right? It can't be anyone else. It's hard to say. There's still Lu Yu. Hearing those words, Lu Wen immediately refuted. One relies on luck, while the other relies on strength. How can he be compared to my senior? No one said anything else. Some were silent, while others firmly believed that Su Mao would get first place. The crowd got into a heated discussion. Lu Yu was the only one left, carefully observing Su Mao. Su Mao's stamina was almost exhausted. His final result should be to last until the activation of the third machine. Lu Yu could see that Su Mao was already exhausted in his current state. However, if he could hold on until the activation of the third machine, it would be considered a pretty good result. Soon, the third machine was activated. 3 small balls shot out consecutively, causing Su Mao to clench his teeth. He hurriedly activated his skill. His footsteps changed, causing him to instantly move 4 to 5 meters horizontally and dodge the 3 small balls. However, soon, the following 3 balls came at him again. He had no choice but to use his skill continuously. The current him could only rely on his skills to dodge, otherwise, with his raw speed, he would be unable to dodge the 3 balls consecutively. However, he could not use his skills consecutively for long. Even just the consumption of his mana alone was unbearable. At that moment, Su Mao was entirely focused, and his muscles were tense. He was seriously treating the machine as his opponent. However, after dodging a few times, he was still accidentally hit by a small ball. Damn it! I actually didn't dodge that, Su Mao shouted with a face full of distress. If he could hold on for a bit longer, he would be able to hold on until the fourth machine activated. If he could hold on until the fourth machine, then he was guaranteed to be ranked at least in the top 3. Su Mao sighed regretfully. Sigh, what a pity. The instructor also felt that it was a pity. He could see that Su Mao was a good seedling. Unfortunately, he didn't hold on for a little longer. However, he felt that there should not be anyone else who could persist any longer than Su Mao. The other freshmen also felt the same way. Before the trial began, they all felt that it was not too difficult to dodge a small ball. However, when they experienced it for themselves, that wasn't the case at all. The difficulty of this trial was not something that an ordinary person could pass. After the instructor watched Su Mao leave the stage, he shouted, "Next, please begin the trial." The next person to go on stage was Lu Yu. When the crowd saw Lu Yu enter the trial area, everyone started discussing. It's finally Lu Yu's turn. I wonder how long he can last. Do you think Lu Yu can still get first place this time? I don't think so. He took a beating in the previous trial. He definitely won't be able to last in a trial that requires high agility. I think so too. He will only last until the second machine. He shouldn't last any longer. At this moment, Su Mao looked at Lu Yu with pride. He absolutely did not believe that Lu Yu could break his record. Lu Wen was beside him and massaged his shoulders. Senior, you will definitely be number 1 this time. No one can be more outstanding than you. No shit. Su Mao snorted in disdain. At that moment, after Lu Yu had made his preparations, the first machine began to fire. The first small ball was instantly shot toward Lu Yu. Lu Yu leaned to the side and easily dodged it. Following that, the second ball was shot over. Lu Yu continued to dodge with ease, and it seemed that the current difficulty was very easy for Lu Yu. His speed had a value of 240, and none of the freshmen here had a speed of over 200. Su Mao was the same as his speed did not exceed 200. Perhaps he could only catch up to Lu Yu's normal speed by casting a speed skill. Soon, the second machine was activated. Two small balls were shot out consecutively, but Lu Yu could still deal with them easily. He first dodged the first small ball, then bent down to dodge the second. The entire process looked easy. In Lu Yu's eyes, the trajectories of these tiny balls were like a slow-motion replay. With his outstanding reaction speed and movement speed, Lu Yu could easily dodge the simultaneous shots of the two machines. When the other freshmen saw this, they exclaimed, "Damn, there's something to be seen here. His speed is indeed quite fast, and he looks very relaxed. There's no pressure on him at all. Indeed. His breathing is calm, his movements are swift, and he's not nervous at all. There's a chance. He's likely to break Su Mao's record." At this moment, Su Mao's brows were tightly knit as he looked nervously at Lu Yu. He could not understand why Lu Yu's speed was so fast. His smooth use of the shield meant that he was very strong. Since his strength was robust, then his speed should have been weak. However, Lu Yu's performance showed as if he had no flaws at all. His speed was also outstanding. Su Mao felt a feeling of imbalance in his heart. Even he himself could not achieve such an achievement in all attributes, so how could anyone else do it? At this moment, the third machine began shooting, and everyone held their breath. Whether Lu Yu could break the record and get first place depended on this moment. If Lu Yu could persevere, then he would be first. If Lu Yu failed, he would have no choice but to be in second place. Su Mao was hoping that Lu Yu would make a mistake, but he remained calm on the surface. 3 small balls came at him, and Lu Yu focused on the small balls. Very soon, the first small ball came at him, but Lu Yu's gaze was set on the second ball. He quickly estimated that if he dodged the first small ball, the second one would catch up to him quickly. It would be challenging for him to dodge then. Moreover, the third ball was also getting close to him. Lu Yu roughly calculated that he should not force the dodge. Therefore, Lu Yu jumped on the spot and leaped into the air. Everyone was puzzled. Even if he jumped up, he could not dodge all the small balls. Moreover, he could not adjust his position in the air, so he would have no chance to dodge after he landed. Isn't he courting death by jumping like this? He wouldn't be able to dodge all the balls. He would have to take a hit after landing. Sigh, it's over. He will only be second. Just as everyone thought Lu Yu was about to get hit, Lu Yu, suspended in midair, stepped into the air and made a second jump. The second jump helped Lu Yu jump higher into the air and successfully dodged all 3 small balls. When the instructor saw this, he was happy. A double jump skill that would actually allow him to jump this high. It seems he has been training hard. That the instructor's mentality changed. He felt that Lu Yu was about to break the record. The first place was very likely to be Lu Yu's. At that moment, Su Mao's heart was burning with anxiety. If Lu Yu continues not to make a mistake, then he would really be in second place. Lu Yu landed on the ground, and the 3 small balls had already flown away. Following that, the second wave of small balls shot out. Lu Yu continued to use his double jump and avoided the balls. The freshmen were all dumbfounded. At the speed Lu Yu was going, they could not catch up to him at all. 72 Chapter 72 Speed-Type Dragon Skill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 72 Speed-Type Dragon Skill. While he was dodging the balls, Lu Yu gradually discovered some patterns. Every time the machine fired, it would lock onto his current position and quickly shoot out a small ball. Therefore, Lu Yu needed a swift reaction and speed to escape from the spot to avoid the small ball. From the looks of it, his double jump still had some room for improvement. After 5 rounds of shooting, the 4th machine was activated. At that moment, Lu Yu's result was in first place, far ahead of Su Mao's result. Outside the field, Su Mao's eyes were gloomy. He was miserable that Lu Yu had stolen the limelight once again. It was making him feel resentful. The other freshmen looked at Lu Yu in surprise. They had never thought Lu Yu could be so strong in the speed trial. Moreover, he had only used a double jump skill and could dodge all the way to the activation of the fourth machine. Without a doubt, his basic speed attribute was very high, much higher than theirs. This is a little ridiculous. His strength is already so strong, yet his speed is still so fast and so agile. The gap between us is too big. We are supposed to be all geniuses that are 1 in 10,000, yet there's still such a gap between us. Before they came to this university, they were all publicly recognized geniuses in their high schools around the country. They were worshipped and respected by other students. However, after arriving here, they realized they were mediocre, especially when compared to Lu Yu. They felt they didn't deserve the title of genius. I didn't expect Lu Yu's speed to be so fast. This really surprised me. The instructor crossed his arms and looked at Lu Yu in surprise. He himself had only managed to hold on until the fifth machine was activated. At that moment, everyone admired Lu Yu's elegant movements, for small balls shot toward him consecutively like a shotgun, and Lu Yu had to use all his concentration to dodge the small balls. He stomped on the ground and dodged to the right. However, the distance between him and the balls was still not enough. He quickly followed up with a double jump and instantly increased the distance between them before successfully dodging the small balls. Lu Yu's breathing became heavier. After enduring for so long, he had already used up a lot of his stamina and mana points. However, with Lu Yu's current mana points, it would not be a problem for him to use another 10 or so double jumps. The second round of shooting began, and the 4 small balls spread out and attacked him instantly. Lu Yu exerted strength in both his legs, and the muscles in his thighs bulged as he stomped on the ground. Surprisingly, Lu Yu did not use the double jump this time, but he still barely managed to dodge the 4 small balls. Before Lu Yu could let out a sigh of relief, the next round of shooting started again. He did not expect that when the trial continued, it would increase the number of machines and reduce the gap between the shots. Lu Yu did not have a chance to catch his breath at all and hurriedly dodged the next round of balls. The freshmen outside the arena looked at Lu Yu and nodded in admiration. This speed is definitely superior to mine. If I were to fight him, he would be behind me before I could react. This speed is almost twice as high as mine. My speed attribute is 110, and it's not considered low, right? If you don't specialize in speed, it should be enough. If that's the case, Lu Yu's speed should be at least 200. Everyone was surprised. They didn't expect Lu Yu's speed to be so high. Among the new students, only those who specialized in speed could have such high speed stats. The most important thing is that Lu Yu's mana stats aren't low either. Even after releasing many skills consecutively, he still shows no signs of exhaustion. The freshmen were all stunned. Lu Yu was simply beating them up in all directions. While they were discussing, Lu Yu was still trying to dodge, and he was already slowly getting used to the 4 small balls. Very soon, the 5th machine was activated. The 5th machine was activated so quickly. Damn, he's definitely in the first place. Among the remaining people, there can't be anyone getting a better result than him, right? Among us, the strongest Su Mao hasn't even surpassed 3 machines, so there's even less hope for us. Once these words were said, the freshmen all nodded their heads in agreement. At the same time, they all accepted their fate. They wouldn't have the chance to snatch first place. At most, they could compete for second or third place. At this moment, Su Mao's expression was hideous. Initially, the crowd was discussing and praising him, but now their focus was all on Lu Yu. The resentment in his heart increased again. He was secretly unhappy with Lu Yu being in the limelight. The 5 machines began to fire simultaneously, and Lu Yu felt slightly tired. It seemed that his highest result would be on the 5th machine. However, this result was already good enough as it was the same result as their instructor. With this result, he should be first, right? Lu Yu felt that among these new students, there should be no one who was faster than him. Their results were even worse than his, but he still wanted to hold on a little longer. If he failed, he would just give up. with this thought in mind, Lu Yu was still entirely focused. He tried his best to dodge the 5 small balls. After the first round of attacks, Lu Yu hurriedly released his double jump, instantly increasing the distance between him and the balls. The area covered by the 5 small balls was vast, and Lu Yu was already feeling exhausted. He had to use his double jump to its limit in order to dodge the 5 small balls. Following that, the second round of shooting came, not giving Lu Yu a chance to react at all. Lu Yu hurriedly released his double jump skill yet again, but at this moment, the sound of a system notification rang in his mind. Due to the host's continuous speed cultivation, the Dragon Skill Speed category has been successfully unlocked. Dragon Skill Speed category, Dragon Shadow. Hearing this notification, Lu Yu was first stunned, then surprised. He did not expect that, after just unlocking 2 main categories of his Dragon Skill recently, he would unlock the 3rd category this quickly. The Dragon Scales corresponded to the Defense category, while the Dragon Muscle, Dragon Fist, and Flaming Claw corresponded to the Offensive category. Lu Yu did not have any speed-type dragon skills. At first, Lu Yu thought that he was unlucky, but he thought that maybe he was not qualified yet. In previous battles, Lu Yu mainly relied on his defense and offense and rarely relied on speed to fight, but now, in this trial, he unexpectedly unlocked what he needed. Lu Yu quickly checked the skill description of Dragon Shadow. Dragon Shadow LV1, quickly teleport 4 meters in a certain direction while leaving an afterimage on the spot. As the level increases, the teleportation distance and the afterimage staying time will increase. Mana cost, 15. After reading it, Lu Yu was overjoyed. This dragon skill was simply too powerful. This short-distance teleportation and the confusing afterimage could significantly increase Lu Yu's mobility. Most importantly, the mana consumption was not high and could be used at will. Factoring in the consumption and Lu Yu's recovery rate, he could use this skill many times. Lu Yu quickly took out the skill tablet and used his mind to learn the skill, Dragon Shadow. Instantly, Lu Yu suddenly opened his eyes. At that moment, 5 small balls appeared in front of him. They were only 5 meters away and could instantly hit Lu Yu's body. 73 Chapter 73 An Unprecedented Result. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 73 An Unprecedented Result. The 5 small balls in front of him immediately reached him. Lu Yu did not hesitate a moment longer and immediately activated his skill, Dragon Shadow. The freshman outside the arena saw this and cried out in surprise. It's over. It's over. Lu Yu hesitated for a moment just now. He can't dodge it. What was he doing just now? Otherwise, he could have dodged another wave. Looks like his run ends here, but his first place is certain. What a pity. I think he can still dodge more. The freshmen expressed their regret, thinking there was no chance for Lu Yu to dodge this wave of balls. However, just as they finished speaking, the small ball arrived in front of Lu Yu. Everyone knew that the small ball was about to hit Lu Yu's body when they saw it, but in the next moment, the ball passed through Lu Yu's body. The freshmen were shocked and cried out, "What's going on? Did it pass through his body? Fuck, so what is this? Is this considered a failure? How did it pass through? He became transparent. What's going on? How did the ball pass through his body?" That when Su Mao saw this, he frowned. However, in the next moment, Lu Yu's figure gradually disappeared. They rubbed their eyes. At that moment, they were surprised to see Lu Yu appear not far away. Am I seeing things? What happened just now? He disappeared and appeared somewhere else. I was paying full attention to it just now, and even so, I didn't notice there was another Lu Yu. I understand now. Lu Yu's speed was too fast, and he left an afterimage on the spot. As soon as these words were said, the crowd was in an uproar, and they all stared at Lu Yu with wide-opened eyes. This is impossible. How did he suddenly increase his speed? This is just teleportation, leaving an afterimage. This must be a speed-type skill. Damn. He actually has another trick up his sleeve. He's sure insane, only using it now. A speed-type skill that produces an effect of teleportation. The quality of this skill is definitely good. Awesome. Wouldn't it be easy for him to withhold the onslaught of 5 machines if that's the case? That everyone started to look at Lu Yu with interest, anticipating what kind of results he would be able to achieve in the end. As for Su Mao, his mood turned sour when he saw this. He initially thought that Lu Yu's moment of glory was about to come to an end. He did not expect Lu Yu to have yet another skill to continue this trial. At that moment, Lu Yu dodged yet another wave of balls and seriously focused on the next wave of balls. Very soon, the next wave of attacks came. The speed of the small balls suddenly increased, and they arrived in front of Lu Yu in an instant. This was the scary part of the trial. The speed of the balls sent out by the machine was also random. Sometimes it was ridiculously fast, and sometimes it was slow. The narrowly dodged balls were usually the balls with a sudden sharp increase in speed compared to the last wave. This time, Lu Yu did not hesitate to release his Dragon Shadow skill immediately. With a swoosh, his figure teleported 4 meters to the left. Following that, the 5 small balls passed through Lu Yu's afterimage. At that moment, all the new students were certain that this was Lu Yu's speed-type skill, and it was a skill that he had just shown. They started to be curious. How far could Lu Yu go with this speed skill? At that moment, the 5 machines finished their last shooting wave, and the 6th machine activated. Lu Yu's eyes were fixed on the machines, ready to release his skill at any moment. Soon, the first round of shooting came, and Lu Yu easily used the Dragon Shadow skill to dodge it. The second and third rounds of shooting came, but Lu Yu used the Dragon Shadow to dodge them all yet again. Lu Yu was originally on the verge of exhaustion when he was at the 5 machines. He did not expect the arrival of a dragon skill would make him feel relaxed. Even with the activation of the 6th machine, dragon skills were indeed extraordinary. It was much more powerful than ordinary skills. When the freshmen saw Lu Yu once again dodge the balls in a relaxed state, they were stunned. Damn, it was difficult for him to dodge them just a moment ago. Now, it's gotten easier. This is a little much. What a ridiculous skill he was hiding up his sleeves. What kind of skill is this? I want it too. This skill is definitely not ordinary. I have browsed through many skill tablet shops, and it is rare to see such a powerful speed-type skill. At that moment, Su Mao's heart was twisting with jealousy. He had paid an unimaginable price to become a disciple of his current master. In the end, the speed-type skill that he had obtained from his master was far inferior to the one before him. He could not accept this fact and was very jealous of Lu Yu's skills. The wall of arrogance in his heart also began to shake. Everyone was looking forward to what kind of record Lu Yu would break. That would be an achievement that they could never hope to achieve. The number of shooting machines continued to increase. The 7th one was activated, and then the 8th one was activated. The people outside the arena were so shocked that they could not speak. The instructor, who was pretentious before, also looked at Lu Yu nervously. When he entered the school, he also took the same speed trial. However, his result was only 3 machines, and he only lasted until the 4th round of shooting. Even if it was just this result, it was enough to make him proud even till now. Every time he met a new student, he would brag about it. It was the same this year. He used his results to show off, hoping to suppress the arrogance of these geniuses. However, he didn't expect that there would be such a dark horse in this batch of freshmen. Lu Yu's current result was already completely thrashing him. Moreover, it wasn't over yet. He was still continuously challenging his limits. Very soon, the 9th machine was activated. Lu Yu began to feel exhausted, and it was already difficult for him to dodge just by relying on the Dragon Shadow. After releasing the Dragon Shadow skill, he had to do a double jump as soon as possible to increase the distance between him and the balls quickly. 9 small balls shooting out simultaneously were already covering a large area. The 4-meter teleportation distance was already making it impossible for him to dodge them completely. Lu Yu still barely managed to hold on. He wanted to break a higher record than ever before. The 10th machine was activated. The freshmen present were all in an uproar. The 10th machine. In the entire history of Clanorth University, there has never been a freshman who could achieve such a result. What kind of talent does he have? What kind of skill is he using? How can he be so powerful? If I say Lu Yu will get first place this time, no one would refute me, right? This is too ridiculous. His speed is simply terrifying. Lu Yu is the real first place. This result simply overpowered Su Mao. Who said that Su Mao must be the first? Come out. I can only use the word terrifying to describe it. At that moment, Lu Yu was still seriously treating the machines as his opponents. The interval between the shots decreased even further, and the ball's range of cover was wider. Lu Yu gradually felt that his speed was insufficient. His mana alone could not keep up with how frequently he used his skills. Finally, Lu Yu's mana was exhausted during the second round of shooting. He could not simultaneously release the Dragon Shadow and double jump and was struck by a small ball. The instructor pressed the remote control, and the machine stopped shooting. He sized up Lu Yu. His face looked calm, and his insides were already in turmoil. 74 Chapter 74 Second Phase, Attack and Defense Trial. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 74 Second Phase, Attack and Defense Trial. Lu Yu's result is 10 machines on the second round of shooting. Currently ranked first, that the instructor announced loudly, causing the surrounding freshmen to applaud enthusiastically. Everyone looked at Lu Yu with glorification, as if they were looking at a superstar. Lu Yu took 2 deep breaths, wiped off the sweat on his forehead, and returned to the team. Many freshmen gathered around Lu Yu. Brother Yu, you're too strong. You actually managed until the activation of the 10th machine. My mind's been blown. It's ridiculous. Brother, can you bring me along? Big brother, what is your speed skill? Can you introduce it to me? Lu Yu chuckled but did not reply. His dragon skill was his exclusive skill. Even if he told them, they would not be able to learn it. Lu Yu looked at the training ground. The next freshman was going up on stage. However, Lu Yu had nothing to worry about. He would definitely be number 1. Su Mao's face was ashen. Lu Yu's outstanding performance made him so jealous that his heart was twisted. Initially, he was the star in the crowd, and countless people should have worshipped him, but now, he had been treated coldly, and no one paid attention. His hard-earned results were no longer worth mentioning. The result of activating the 3 machines would still be worth bragging about if Lu Yu had not appeared today. However, compared to Lu Yu, his results were laughable. Su Mao looked at Lu Yu with a cold and resentful gaze. Standing at the side, Lu Wen was utterly speechless upon seeing Su Mao's resentful gaze. Whether it was praise or consolations, she would definitely be scolded by Su Mao. The arrogant and conceited Su Mao was no longer as arrogant as before. Instead, he was filled with bitterness. If not for Lu Yu, he would still be a genius student under a renowned master, overlooking the geniuses from all over the country. However, Lu Yu's existence had caused him to lose his pride. He swore in his heart that he would definitely take revenge. At that moment, the instructor walked over to Lu Yu. Student Lu Yu, I have some questions to ask you. He scratched his head in embarrassment. Feel free to ask, and I'll try my best to answer. Lu Yu revealed an easygoing smile. The instructor whispered in embarrassment, I want to ask, how did you cultivate your speed? You're so strong, much stronger than me. You must be a genius in this area, so I want to ask you, it's best if you can personally guide me. The instructor's words caused the freshman beside him to be dumbfounded. You're an instructor, so why are you seeking guidance from a freshman? However, they could also understand. This freshman's results were twice those of the instructor, so it was natural for him to be humble. However, this scene in Su Mao's eyes completely made him unable to endure any longer. He couldn't stand someone stealing the limelight like this. After all, he had worked so hard to cultivate just to gain the admiration of countless people. At this moment, he walked toward Lu Yu angrily. Lu Yu, I want to have a one-on-one fight with you. What's the big deal about running fast? You only know how to run. That Lu Yu sized up the person who suddenly walked over. He could tell at a glance that this guy had a vicious aura covering him. It seemed that he had been holding a grudge for a long time. Most importantly, his hairstyle and elegant makeup indicated that he enjoyed dressing up and acting as a gentleman. Now that he was so hot-tempered, his true nature was exposed. You want to fight one-on-one? That's fine. I can accompany you. Lu Yu did not refuse, as his way of cultivation was to constantly engage in actual combat, how could he miss an opportunity now that someone had delivered himself to his door? Hee, at least you have the guts. You only know how to defend and escape. You're just a coward. I think you don't even have an offensive skill. Su Mao looked at Lu Yu with contempt. At this moment, the instructor opened his mouth and said, coincidentally, the second phase of the Combat Techniques Academy's test is an offensive and defensive competition. 2 people in a group will carry out a one-on-one duel. If you succeed in offense or defense, you will be able to score points. Su Mao laughed loudly, just what I wanted. Oh right, is the grouping random? The instructor shook his head slightly. It's not random. You guys choose your own opponents. You guys will go and look for opponents with similar strength. Only then will you have a chance to win and save us the trouble of grouping. Hearing these words, the freshmen expressed their agreement. They did not want to be Lu Yu's opponent as they would definitely be beaten up. However, Su Mao, who was in over his head, got arrogant again. Great, then I'll team up with Lu Yu. I want to fight him one-on-one. The instructor looked at Lu Yu. He has issued a challenge to you. Do you agree? Lu Yu shrugged. What's there to disagree about? Come on. Su Mao chuckled. His gaze toward Lu Yu was filled with provocation. I'll break you now and let the others know just how good you are. I, Su Mao, won't let you steal my first place. At this moment, Su Mao seemed to have gone crazy as he shouted at Lu Yu hysterically. The other freshmen saw this and started to dissuade him. Brother Su, don't get ahead of yourself. You're definitely not a match for him. Aren't you underestimating him too much? You must stay rational, or else you'll lose even more miserably. Don't try to dissuade him. If he doesn't fight Lu Yu, what if Lu Yu was assigned to us? Hell no, I don't want to fight Lu Yu. At that speed, I wouldn't even know how I lost. Seeing this, Su Mao shouted, stop talking nonsense. What you're seeing is just an illusion. Let me break this illusion. Lu Yu couldn't be bothered with him as this fellow was obviously in over his head. He must have seen his spectacular results and felt unbalanced. To deal with such a person, it was best to let him face reality clearly. In this trial space, the surrounding walls are actually individual private rooms. After you form a team, enter the room and begin the attack and defense trial. The results will be calculated automatically in the room, and the winner will be determined. This competition will directly affect your final results, so please take it seriously. In addition, if you didn't perform well in the speed trial just now, you can put in more effort here to improve your results. As soon as these words were said, many new students had a new glimmer of hope. Those who had initially performed poorly all put in more effort, especially those new students whose speed was abysmal, such as the tank cultivator. Soon, the surrounding walls began to open the iron doors simultaneously, revealing the empty room inside. The room was not big, about the size of a fighting cage. After the freshmen were divided into groups, they entered their respective rooms together. Once the door was closed, the competition officially began. 75 Chapter 75 The Undisputed First Place. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 75 The Undisputed First Place. The second phase of the combat technique trial officially began. Every pair of students formed a team and were locked in a sealed room. Both sides attacked and defended against each other to obtain points. Once an attack was effective, 1 point would be obtained. Once a defense was effective, 1 point would be obtained. An effective attack was to break through the defense and cause damage at the same time. An effective defense was to defend against an attack and not suffer any damage at all. This trial was to make up for the flaw in the last trial. Otherwise, testing one's speed alone would be too biased. Lu Yu and Su Mao were standing opposite each other in a room. The two of them were ready to fight. Su Mao sized up Lu Yu and chuckled. Next, I'll let you see my offensive methods. Your defense and speed are nothing against my attacks. Really? Then come at me. I'd like to see how strong your offensive skills are. Lu Yu crossed his arms in front of his chest and looked at him relaxedly. Through the eye of truth, Lu Yu saw Su Man's stats. Su Mao. Attack, 260. Speed, 140. Health, 270. Mana, 100. Defense, 180. His attack power was the same as Lu Yu's defense, 260. In other words, if Su Mao could not break through his armor in advance, his attack power would be 0 against Lu Yu. If Lu Yu used his skills, Dragon Scale or Strong Wall, then Su Mao would deal less than 0 damage, however. Su Mao's defense was only 180, while Lu Yu's attack power was 380. Even if he did not break through Su Mao's armor, Lu Yu's attacks would still be able to deal 200 damage. This was definitely a heavy blow to Su Mao. After looking at Su Mao's attributes, Lu Yu had nothing to worry about. He just stood there without moving, as Su Mao was no match for him. At that moment, Su Mao had already started warming up. At the same time, he looked at Lu Yu and said, "Looks like you're ready, right? Since that's the case, let's begin." He straightened his body and raised his fists to protect his head. He was in a standard boxing posture, however, when he saw that Lu Yu was still crossing his arms over his chest, he immediately felt displeased. "What are you doing? Get ready for battle. Otherwise, when I punch you, you'll cry miserably." Su Mao said very confidently. Lu Yu replied calmly, "I'm already prepared. Come at me directly." Hearing that, Su Mao's temper flared up instantly. "What do you mean? You're looking down on me, aren't you? Alright, then I'll let you know how powerful I am. You'll regret it." As he said that, he rushed toward Lu Yu and threw a punch simultaneously. With a dull thud, he punched Lu Yu's arm, but there was no reaction from Lu Yu at all. However, Lu Yu's rigid muscles made Su Mao feel a wave of pain in his fist. He gritted his teeth and endured the pain without letting out a cry. Then, he retracted his fist. At this moment, his mind went blank. Why was his attack not effective at all? This was impossible. He was stunned. There was only one possibility for such a situation to happen. The other party's defense far exceeded his attack power. But a defense of more than 200 was just too high. Su Mao gritted his teeth and clenched his fist again. "It's not over yet. Take another punch from me." Collapsing mountain fist. Su Mao roared loudly. Instantly, his fist was shrouded in a layer of energy. His fist brought with it a ferocious impact as it struck Lu Yu. It seemed like he had activated his skill, so his attack power must have increased. Lu Yu's defense was comparable to Su Mao's attack value. If his attack power increased, this attack would definitely cause damage. Seeing this, Lu Yu immediately activated his Dragon Scale. In the next moment, Lu Yu's arms turned into dragon claws. Dark golden scales covered his entire arm. Then, from the scales, thick, shell-shaped armor plates grew out. When Su Mao saw Lu Yu's dragon claws, his pupils widened. However, he still swung out his fist and heavily hit Lu Yu's dragon scales. Boom! The huge impact created waves of wind. However, Su Mao's punch did not have any effect. A wave of intense pain assaulted him instantly, causing Su Mao to get a headache. His right fist seemed to have fractured. He retracted his right hand and hurriedly held it in his embrace. At the same time, he sucked in a breath of cold air due to the pain. He was unwilling to give up. He endured the pain and continued to charge forward, using his fists to strike Lu Yu continuously. However, Lu Yu remained where he was the entire time. He did not move at all and allowed Su Mao to hit him however he wanted. Su Mao swung his fists and struck out crazily. His heart gradually turned from anger to helplessness until it reached despair. He was utterly in distress. No matter how hard his fists hit Lu Yu's arms, they were completely useless. Impossible. This can't be real. You must have done something to me. There's no way I can't hurt you, he shouted angrily. He couldn't accept the enormous gap between him and Lu Yu. When one person's attack couldn't hurt the other person, it usually meant that the difference in strength between the two was insanely huge. Lu Yu looked at Su Mao and said slowly, "Are you done with your tickling?" Su Mao raised his head and looked at Lu Yu angrily. "Come on, let me see what kind of strength you have that you would be so arrogant." In the next moment, Lu Yu swung his right arm and threw a slap at Su Mao's face. Pa! A loud sound rang out, and Su Mao was sent flying by the slap, smashing heavily onto the wall beside him. A huge hole appeared on the wall, and Su Mao was implanted into it, unable to get down. His health had also been reduced by more than half, and he was on the verge of death. The pain in his entire body assaulted Su Mao's brain, however, no matter how much pain he felt, he couldn't do anything. At that moment, he had already lost all his strength and could not even struggle, he was helpless to even get down from the wall. Lu Yu could not be bothered to look at the dying Su Mao. Instead, he patted the dust on his shoulder and retracted his dragon claws, then, he calmly walked out of the room and arrived at the training ground. "Instructor, the competition here has already ended." The instructor looked at Lu Yu and asked, "Where is Su Mao?" "He's heavily injured and can't come out." The instructor swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He didn't even need to think to know that Su Mao would end up badly injured, but he deserved it. After all, he had acted so pretentiously and provoked Lu Yu. Lu Wan, who was standing not far away, heard this and immediately rushed into the room where Su Mao was. When she saw Su Mao's entire body implanted into the wall, her entire body went limp, and she fell to the ground with a plop. She held her head with both hands and had a terrified expression on her face. Su Mao was someone that she worshipped as her idol. To her knowledge, there was no one stronger than Su Mao in the same age group. From the start, she had never thought that Su Mao would lose to Lu Yu. The reality before her eyes assaulted her nerves. She stood weakly before Su Mao, stretching her hand to pull onto him. However, she was unable to pull Su Mao down from the wall. His twisted body was embedded in a wall, unable to move at all. After half a day's effort, she finally pulled Su Mao down. Su Mao, who was lying on the ground, widened his eyes. I didn't lose. I can't lose. I want to continue fighting with him. I want to defeat him." His heart was filled with unwillingness and shock. That slap just now almost made him lose his mind. Lu Wan felt helpless. She could only take her medicine out and treat him. The instructor no longer cared about Su Mao. Instead, he organized everyone and began to announce the rankings. First place, Lu Yu. Second place, Su Jiang. Third place, Su Mao. The instructor began to read out the rankings. Everyone was puzzled. Su Mao's speed test result was second, but why was his final result in third place? However, they quickly understood what had happened. Su Mao's opponent for the second phase was Lu Yu. 76 Chapter 76 An Unprecedented Achievement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 76 An Unprecedented Achievement. After the instructor announced the rankings, everyone looked at Lu Yu and congratulated him. "Congratulations, Lu Yu, you got first place again." "Lu Yu, I knew you would get the first place." "Boss, can we add each other as friends so we can text each other in the future?" "Fuck off. Why would he ever add you as a friend?" "Big brother, how about I directly acknowledge you as my master?" The freshmen began to fawn over Lu Yu, trying their best to become his friend. In their eyes, Lu Yu's future development was bright. If they could befriend him in advance, it would be helpful to their future. Lu Yu only smiled faintly and said, somewhat awkwardly, "Everyone, let's finish the trial first. We'll talk about the rest later." The freshmen had no choice but to turn their attention back to the trial. At that moment, the freshmen from the other two regions also walked back. The three teams merged again, and many people began to chat with each other. "Is your trial difficult? How did the speed trial go? I want to try that too. Did you guys also have the offensive and defensive competition in the end? Oh right, how did Lu Yu's results go this time?" The group of freshmen asked all sorts of questions with curiosity, and the group of people was discussing noisily. At that moment, the three instructors gathered the results of the three teams and re-ranked them. The freshmen started to get nervous. The final comprehensive result was about to be released, and everyone was looking forward to it. Many people were looking forward to Lu Yu's results as well. In the first trial, Lu Yu achieved an unprecedented result and took first place. They were all very curious about whether Lu Yu could be equally outstanding in other fields. Very quickly, an instructor came forward and began to announce the rankings. In this year's Freshman Combat Technique Academy trial, the first-ranked student is Lu Yu. Please give him a round of applause. The sound of applause from the students swept over like a tidal wave. Everyone stared at Lu Yu with envious gazes. Now that he had obtained first place in both of the academy's trials, the university would place great importance on him. In this year's trial, not only did student Lu Yu obtain first place, but he also broke past the previous records and created history. Without a doubt, Lu Yu is a true genius among this batch of new students. That when the new students heard this, they were in an uproar again. He broke the record again. What's going on? He broke it twice in a row. What about the next time? Shit, that's awesome. He's such a monster. How is he cultivating to get such a result? Could he be a young master from a reclusive family? How else could he be so much stronger? The discussions below gradually became lively. The instructor continued to announce the subsequent placement of the students. The second rank is the third rank. Soon, the instructor's announcement draws off into the background. No one was paying any attention to the people at the bottom. At that moment, two people in the crowd stared at Lu Yu with resentment. One of them was Zhao Kai, and the other was Lu Xiao. The two were friends. They stood together and stared at Lu Yu's back with unspoken understanding. This guy is too arrogant. Zhao Kai growled. Lu Xiao revealed a cold smile. Don't worry. There's still a chance later. We can play with him slowly. Zhao Kai looked at Lu Xiao and asked, have you seen Su Mao? That guy doesn't seem to be somewhere in the group. Lu Xiao shrugged, I'm not sure. He might have lost his qualification to compete. However, just the two of us are enough. It's still elementary to clean up this small piece of trash. Zhao Kai frowned and said thoughtfully, it's better to be more cautious. We must cripple this guy. There are only so many resources that we freshmen can get. If this guy continues to get first place, our allocated resources will be much less. Lu Xiao also nodded seriously, that's right. We can't let this guy become number one. It's best to cripple him so he can't continue studying here. That the two of them made up their minds and their hearts. They had to teach Lu Yu a lesson. The academy would give him more resources if Lu Yu became number one in all 5 trials. The second and third places would naturally have fewer resources, so they wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. The rankings were quickly announced, and all the freshmen could enter the next trial. The new students began to take off their special battle uniforms and change back into their equipment. Yun Zairu and Su Qing came to Lu Yu's side and congratulated him. Congratulations on getting first place. Again. The academy will have to take you seriously this time. Su Qing said, actually, the academy has already placed importance on you. For example, the villa and the exclusive luxury car. However, the academy will definitely give you even better stuff when these 5 trials are over. Lu Yu shrugged his shoulders indifferently. It's best if they can give it. It won't affect me too much even if they don't. Lu Yu did not think Clanorth University would have any of his exclusive dragon skills available to learn. He would mainly have to rely on his system if he wanted to obtain any dragon skill. Of course, if he could obtain some good equipment, that would be good too. The next teleportation door opened at that moment, and a beautiful figure walked out. It was Xianya from the Elemental Academy. Although Xianya was a little older, she still retained her charm. The moment she appeared, it excited many young men here. Hello, new students. I am the Dean of the Elemental Academy, Xianya. Next is the Elemental Academy's trial. Please follow me to the next trial venue. After saying that, Xianya turned around and walked back into the teleportation door. Seeing this, the freshmen followed her and entered the teleportation door together. After passing through the teleportation door, the new students all arrived at the next trial venue. There was an ancient building in front of them. The dean, Xianya, stood at the entrance of the building and said, "This is the trial venue for this time. Please follow me." As she spoke, she pushed open a scarlet door, and everyone walked in. When they came to a courtyard, they found that it was empty. There was nothing but a stone tablet in the middle. The stone tablet was carved to look like a crouching dragon. The stone tablet looked solemn, causing them to subconsciously quiet down and be respectful. Xianya stood in front of the stone tablet and patiently explained, "Everyone who has studied history should know that the history of awakeners can be traced back to a long time ago. Perhaps you don't know that the earliest batch of awakeners relied on this stone tablet to complete their awakening." When the new students heard this, they were all surprised. They didn't expect that there was such an old thing here. Xianya continued, "These stone tablets contain ancient power. Even if you freshmen touch it now, you will be able to obtain a different and brand new understanding of cultivation. This will be of great help to your future cultivation path." Hearing this, the new students present were all excited and began to look forward to the upcoming trial. 77 Chapter 77 Elemental Trial, Start. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 77 Elemental Trial, Start. The colossal stone tablet in front of them was nearly 3 meters tall. A giant crouching dragon was carved on it, incomparably exquisite and beautiful. Even though it was carved out, the stone tablet gave off a vague sense of majestic aura. Every freshman here didn't dare to act cheeky, and all of them looked at the stone tablet with solemn expressions and feelings. Xianya came to the front of the stone tablet, looked at the crowd, and said, "Everyone, the Elemental Academy's trial is conducted through this stone tablet. Under the test of this stone tablet, you will know what kind of elemental energy you are suitable for. The more elemental energy you can sense, the more it proves that you are worthy of walking on the path of cultivating elemental energy." The freshmen looked at the stone tablet with excitement. Many of them were already elemental mages, so they were looking forward to the upcoming trial. Xianya continued, "For the next trial, we will do it in groups of 5. We will start your sensing capabilities trial together so that we can complete the trial as soon as possible." After saying that, she began splitting them into groups. Soon, she completed the task of grouping the students according to the freshman list. "Now, I will announce the results of the grouping. The members of the first group are..." She kept reading, and the freshmen listened attentively. Soon, Lu Yu heard his name being called out. "The 12th group, the members are Li Chang, Lu Hao, Zhao Kai, Lu Yu, and Huang Roli." Among these people, there was one name that caught Lu Yu's attention, Zhao Kai. He had heard that Zhao Kai was not someone ordinary. He seemed to descend from some reclusive ancient family, and his strength and talent were all very strong. It was evaluated that he would do pretty well in the elemental trial. Lu Yu felt that his elemental power would not be too bad. After all, many of his evolutionary routes were related to elemental power. He even found the rare light and darkness elements amongst his evolutionary routes, along with the common fire and water elements. Therefore, Lu Yu was also looking forward to his elemental sensing test. After dividing into groups, they began their tests, batch after batch. The first group of students lined up and came to the front of the stone tablet. The 5 of them stretched out their hands at the same time and placed them on the cold stone tablet. Buzz. A low buzzing sound could be heard, and the stone tablet began to hum. The entire stone tablet was covered in a layer of fluorescent light. When the freshmen saw this, they were all somewhat surprised. "How magical! I seem to have sensed the energy contained within the stone tablet. It's so huge. This energy is definitely not something that we can control. Even if I can obtain 1% of it, it would be able to benefit me greatly. In your dreams, you wouldn't be able to absorb it even if it was just 1,000th of the energy contained within this ancient stone tablet." After a round of chattering, the stone tablet began to give the results. All the freshmen stared at the stone tablet, their hearts filled with excitement. Very soon, a red light appeared before the first person. The light was dim and dark red, flowing in the air and pulsating at times. This ray of light represented the fire element. In other words, this freshman could use the fire element. Whoosh! This ray of light surged into the new student's body and gifted him an abundance of elemental energy. The second ray of light was a pale blue ray of light. The rays of light flowed in the air like waves of seawater. His elemental power was the water element. This light also entered his body. Soon, all 5 of them completed the test. Xianya judged the result based on the brightness, energy fluctuation, and the number of types of light present. The brightness of the light represented how much potential the freshman had in this elemental power. The energy fluctuation represented how much energy he could get from this sensing. The number of types of lights represented how many types of elements he could control. Unfortunately, the first batch of freshmen only had one type of light. This meant they could only control one type of elemental energy. It would be very difficult for them to enter the Elemental Academy. If you could not control more than 3 types of elemental energy, then the Elemental Academy was not suitable for you. Elemental mages, elemental warriors, or the like cannot use just one type of elemental attribute to fight. It would be too easy to have a weakness and be targeted, just like fire conquers wood and wood conquers water. Without more than 3 types, it would be tough to form a counterattack to any situation. Soon, the second batch of new students arrived in front of the stone tablet and began to undergo their sensing. Light bloomed once again. The gorgeous light made the new students who were waiting cast their gazes over and quietly admire it. Soon, the test came to Lu Yu's group. Group 12, it's your turn to conduct the test. When Lu Yu heard this, he walked out of the crowd and formed a team with the other 4 people. At this moment, the freshmen began to discuss among themselves. Big brother Lu Yu is beginning his test. I wonder what his elemental energy is and if he will also be number 1 this time. It can't be. He's already so strong in both offense and defense. If his elemental energy is also so strong, what else would we plebs be left with? Even if he doesn't have elemental energy, he's still far ahead of us. I'm looking forward to Lu Yu's elemental energy test. It'll definitely be interesting. What kind of light will he shine? I'm looking forward to Lu Yu as well. However, I'm more inclined to see Zhao Kai's. He's the publicly acknowledged genius youth of Ixtale. The Zhao family. That's an ancient family with such a deep heritage that it would shock anyone. I heard Zhao Kai seems to have an extreme yang body constitution. This unique constitution allows him to master fire elemental energy. Does he have a special constitution? He's indeed a genius. Although most people can awaken talents, a special constitution is something many yearn for. Yeah. A special constitution is something you are born with. It's hard to come by in this lifetime. Everyone looked at Zhao Kai excitedly, anticipating his test. At this moment, Zhao Kai's hands were behind his back, and his face was full of confidence. 2 years ago, he used his family's power to come here and undergo a test. During that test, he clearly remembered that an intense red light appeared in front of him. Although that light was dim, it was enough to prove Zhao Kai's mastery of the fire element. After 2 years of hard training, he was looking forward to seeing what kind of situation his elemental power was in now. Zhao Kai turned around and looked at the crowd. He said indifferently, "Everyone, don't worry. I had already undergone this test 2 years ago. My fire element energy is definitely beyond your imagination." That when the freshmen heard this, they were excited and began looking forward to the test. The 2 geniuses were in the same group conducting the test. They definitely attracted more than enough attention. Soon, their group arrived in front of the stone tablet. The 5 placed their hands on the stone tablet and began sensing. 78 Chapter 78 Special Constitution, Extreme Young Body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 78 Special Constitution, Extreme Young Body. Lu Yu raised his hands and placed them on the cold stone tablet. Lu Yu felt a wonderful feeling at this moment. A surge of ancient energy entered his body and circled his body as if looking for something. Very quickly, the energy surged out and returned to the stone tablet. Gradually, light began to appear from around the stone tablet. The freshmen held their breaths and looked at the stone tablet with serious expressions. In particular, Zhao Kai was attracting the attention of most of the students. Although Lu Yu's previous performance was astonishing, they did not feel that Lu Yu had a very high talent. For elemental energy, no one was perfect, so they felt that Lu Yu's elemental power must be poor, and there was nothing special to see. On the other hand, Zhao Kai came from a unique background and had a unique constitution. It was customary for him to have powerful elemental energy. At that moment, Zhao Kai stared at the stone tablet in front of him with a serious expression. His heartbeat quickened, and his breathing became heavy. He closed his eyes and began to meditate. In the next moment, a ray of light flashed. He hurriedly opened his eyes and was shocked to discover a ball of dazzling light in front of him. A blazing, bright, and orange-red ball of light fluctuated before Zhao Kai's eyes. Such a large, dazzling ball of light represented the fire element. It made countless people exclaim in admiration. This is too beautiful. So dazzling. It's like the sun. Even from so far away, I still feel a heat wave. His fire element power must be off the charts. As expected of Zhao Kai. The fire elemental power in his body has reached such a level. That's simply shocking. That's ridiculous. I'm also a fire elemental user. Why does it feel like mine's a matchstick compared to his? Looks like the first place in this elemental trial will be Zhao Kai. Zhao Kai was stunned for a moment before getting excited. Ha 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 ha. Did you see that? This is my elemental power. Isn't it awesome? In this trial, I will definitely be the champion. Zhao Kai laughed loudly. His laughter was extremely arrogant, and he started to look down on everyone. Those fire elemental powers of yours are all nothing compared to mine. I am equivalent to 100 of you, nay, 1,000 of you. Zhao Kai's arrogant words made many of the freshmen unhappy. In particular, some fire elemental cultivators were even more disgruntled, but they did not know what to say. After all, strength was everything in this place. You could only accept his words, no matter how ugly they were, as he was stronger than them. Although it wasn't nice to casually degrade others, there was no way to refute him without the strength to back it up. The freshmen were slightly miffed after hearing Zhao Kai's arrogant words. They felt angry, but that did not stop others from worshipping him. A genius will always be a genius. I guess we can only admit defeat. To be able to produce such a strong energy fluctuation must be due to his constitution. It seems that his extreme young body is indeed something else. I even sparred with Zhao Kai a few years ago. At that time, his fire elemental energy was far less dazzling than it is now. It seems that his constitution has evolved, right? I think so. Otherwise, how could his strength have such a huge leap? Enjoying the looks of admiration from many people, Zhao Kai's got even more arrogant as the corners of his mouth curled up proudly. When Xianya saw such an intense red ball of light, she could not help but reveal a surprised expression. She had encountered many freshmen, but a light this dazzling was rarely seen. Zhao Kai seemed to be a well-deserved genius worthy of being invited into the Elemental Academy. With this thought in mind, Xianya ignored Zhao Kai's arrogant attitude. After all, geniuses have the right to be arrogant. Suddenly, another bright, radiant light lit up, attracting everyone's attention. An extraordinarily striking and exquisite blue radiant light surged out. This light blue radiance was like the ocean under the sunlight. The light flowed, bringing with it waves of icy cold aura. Everyone recognized that this light was the energy of the water element. The water element has appeared. The level of energy fluctuation from this water element is almost the same as that of the fire element previously. Whose water element is this? It can't be Zhao Kai's, as water and fire don't mix. He can't have two opposing elements at the same time. Even if he does, one of them should be very weak. Everyone turned their gaze at the other four, unable to tell who had produced this ball of elemental energy. At this moment, doubt flashed across Zhao Kai's face. The intensity of this water elemental energy was almost the same as his fire elemental energy. It seemed that someone else had another elemental energy almost at the same level as his. However, among the four, he felt that Lu Yu was the only one whose strength was about the same as his. When she saw this, Xianya could not help but reveal an excited smile. Never in her wildest dreams did she expect that she would be able to obtain two genius elemental mages from the freshmen today. What a lucky day! She hurriedly asked, "This water elemental energy is coming from which student?" That the freshmen also looked at the five of them curiously, wanting to know to whom the water elemental belonged. Everyone looked at Lu Yu with unspoken understanding. They discovered that Lu Yu had his eyes tightly shut, earnestly sensing the power of the stone tablet. He completely ignored the discussions of the others. This water element should belong to Lu Yu, right? Other than him, it can't be anyone else. I think so too. He's so strong, so his elemental power shouldn't be weak either. This is too ridiculous. He's already so strong in other aspects, and now his elemental power is also this strong. It's almost on the same level as Zhao Kai. How terrifying. Does this person have any weaknesses? At this moment, Zhao Kai was feeling extremely sour. He thought he could finally be in first place after having such a dazzling ball of light energy appear before him. However, Lu Yu's elemental energy was on par with his. This instantly made him feel unhappy. Fuck. No matter how powerful your water element is, it's useless. I have an extreme young body. My fire element will only grow ferocious in the future. However, Lu Yu did not pay any attention to him. He continued to close his eyes and sense the stone tablet. Seeing this, Xianya was getting a little anxious. She wanted to confirm whether the water element was Lu Yu's. If so, then she might lose a genius to her academy. After all, Lu Yu was strong in all aspects. He might not go to the elemental academy. While everyone was puzzled, another ball of light appeared. A pure white light appeared in front of everyone's eyes in the shape of a cylinder. The white light was silky white, constantly twisting and rotating like a tornado. As soon as this light appeared, the surrounding air began to flow, creating wind gusts. Everyone looked at this ball of light in surprise. This white light, it's the power of the wind element. This size and energy fluctuation doesn't lose out to the fire and water elements just now. Another elemental genius, gathered in the same group. 79 Chapter 79 All Four Elements, His. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 79 All Four Elements, His. The sudden white light surprised all the freshmen present, 1 test group, 5 people, and 3 elemental geniuses within it. This was simply ridiculous. What kind of monsters are in this group to have 3 geniuses? Dean Xianya is going to die of joy. This batch of freshmen is simply a bountiful harvest of geniuses for her. Simply terrifying. These elemental energies are all miles ahead of us. At that moment, Xianya was wearing a smile on her face as she excitedly looked at the 3 balls of light near the stone tablet. However, a new ray of light soon appeared, shocking everyone once more. An earthen yellow light appeared, condensing into a ball of light. The light spread out, causing everyone to smell the scent of the earth. Another earth element has appeared. Could it be that it is also of the same level of energy fluctuation? What's going on? 4 elemental geniuses. This can't be right. Something's wrong. Something's definitely wrong. This is weird. Whose earth element is this? Sheesh, what's going on? I am confused. Xianya was also dumbfounded. She had witnessed countless freshmen sensing the stone tablet, but she had never seen so many dazzling elemental powers in one go. This was simply too abnormal, and she had many questions about what was happening. Zhao Kai's brows were tightly furrowed at this moment. What's going on? Why are there so many elemental powers on the same level as me? What's happening? Everyone, say something. What's going on with these elemental powers? The others were all confused and did not understand what was happening. Brother Kai, we have no idea. I don't have the power of the earth element, but this ball of light appeared in front of me. The elemental powers in front of me are not something I can control. Where did this come from? Could there be a problem? I have never used the power of these elements. The surrounding freshmen also felt that something was amiss. It is indeed bizarre. There is something wrong with the appearance of the 4 elemental energies. Dean, it is better for us to conduct a thorough investigation and see what is going on. There is definitely a problem with this. Could there be a problem with the stone tablet? I think that it is possible. This test shouldn't count. We should start over. Upon hearing those words, Zhao Kai immediately became anxious. Why should I start over? This is my result. I will not start over. At that moment, he was a little sheepish. He, too, was amazed that his elemental power was this powerful. It was best not to redo the test to avoid any accidents. However, although he was unwilling to do it again, it was not up to him. After thinking for a moment, Xianya felt that she should investigate where the elemental power came from and who was the one who produced it. Thus, she looked at one of the freshmen and said, "Take your hands back." That freshman obediently took his hands back. However, none of the 4 balls of light disappeared. Next is you. Take your hands back. The second freshman also took his hands back, however, the 4 balls of light still did not disappear. The freshmen present were all stunned, there were still 3 people left. If the fire element was Zhao Kai's, how would the other 2 equally split the remaining 3 elements? Xianye glanced at the remaining 3 people. She had initially planned to ask Lu Yu to withdraw his hand this time, but after thinking about it, she decided to ask the person beside him to withdraw his hand. You can withdraw your hand now. Xianye continued speaking. When that person heard her, he withdrew his hands. At that moment, only Lu Yu and Zhao Kai were left in front of the stone tablet. Everyone held their breaths and began nervously looking at the situation in front of them. Damn, only these 2 are left. Not a single one of the balls of light disappeared. If that's the case, then does it mean that Lu Yu is responsible for the remaining 3 types of elemental energy if the fire element belongs to Zhao Kai? Fuck. How can Lu Yu's elemental energy be so powerful? Isn't that too abnormal? I originally thought that Zhao Kai was already strong enough, but I didn't expect Lu Yu to be even stronger, 3 times stronger than him. He is a true genius. I have no other words, that when Zhao Kai heard these words, he was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He couldn't allow anyone to be stronger than him, this much stronger as well. Moreover, with his unique constitution, elemental energy was his pride. He didn't expect his pride source to be inferior to someone else. How could he, the arrogant him, accept the truth? He gritted his teeth and shouted, I'm not convinced. This must be a mistake. Let's just start from the beginning, that he could only place his hopes on the possibility that it had to be a mistake. Lu Yu could not possibly have 3 types of elemental energy, and each of them was so dazzling. When Xianye heard this, she shook her head slightly. We could start from the beginning, but it's better to root it out through elimination. The stone tablet cannot be wrong. It has operated for thousands of years and has never made a mistake. No one could challenge the authority of this ancient stone tablet. Naturally, Xianye would not agree to Zhao Kai's request. Zhao Kai was displeased but did not dare to say anything else. If he continued, he would disrespect the stone tablet and be punished. At this moment, Xianye took a deep breath and began to treat this issue seriously. She looked at Zhao Kai and said, "Let go of your hands." Zhao Kai's eyes widened in disbelief when he heard Xianye say that. Dean Xianye, you want me to let go of my hands? Why not him? Perhaps, these 4 elements are all mine. Xianye shook her head. Although your extreme young body allows you to possess powerful fire elemental energy, this constitution cannot allow the water element to coexist. Not only the water element, but it will also reject the other elements. I believe you produced this fire element, but the remaining 3 have absolutely nothing to do with you. These words made it self-evident that the remaining 3 elements were all produced by Lu Yu. The freshmen present were all excited. Shit, is it really Lu Yu's? That's impossible, right? He possessed 3 such powerful elemental powers at the same time. Mind-blowing. It must be a malfunction or a bug. Hurry up and retest the results. My guess must be right. Zhao Kai gritted his teeth and had no choice but to withdraw his hands. Everyone stared at him with wide eyes when his hands left the stone tablet. Their eyes never left the stone tablet, constantly observing the 4 balls of light. After all, it was important to know whether they would disappear or continue to exist. However, not a single ball of light disappeared after Zhao Kai moved his hands away. There was not even the slightest fluctuation in them. Everyone present was dumbfounded. What's going on? What is the fire element doing there? Why is the fire element still there? Why didn't it disappear? What? What's going on? Could it be that Lu Yu has mastered 4 elements at the same time? Did he master fire and water elements at the same time while cultivating his strength at the same time? This is fake. It's completely impossible. The light sphere I have awakened doesn't even have 1/10 of his, and he has 4. What's going on with Zhao Kai? Isn't his fire element supposed to be powerful? Zhao Kai's mind went completely blank at that moment. This is impossible. I have an extreme young body and a supreme ancient bloodline. How can you mortals compare to me?" that he shouted in disbelief. He could not accept that he could not even hold up to Lu Yu in terms of the fire element. 80 Chapter 80 Abnormal Phenomenon, Elemental Fusion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 80 Abnormal Phenomenon, Elemental Fusion. Zhao Kai removed his hands, but the fire element did not disappear. The situation before them confirmed that the dazzling fire element that had just appeared had nothing to do with Zhao Kai. Zhao Kai's mind went blank, and he was utterly dumbfounded. He stared blankly at the blazing fireball in front of him, with his heart filled with mixed feelings. This is impossible. I can't accept this. This is bogus. He started mumbling. The freshmen outside the testing area were all shocked. The fire element doesn't belong to Zhao Kai. Then why was he acting so pretentious just now? Lu Yu is so awesome. All four elements with such power. SP extremely terrifying. Yet another first place in the bag. With this momentum, Lu Yu will soon be number one in all of them. When that time comes, the entire Clanorth University will focus on nurturing Lu Yu. He can pick which academy he wants, take whatever equipment he wants, and learn whatever skills he wants. What kind of monster is this? So scary. We can only look up to him. Countless people sighed. They could only sigh in admiration after looking at what Lu Yu had displayed. At that moment, Zhao Kai suddenly shouted, "There's definitely something wrong with this stone tablet. This is absolutely impossible. Either there's something wrong with the stone tablet, or he tampered with it." Zhao Kai pointed at Lu Yu. At this moment, Lu Xiao shouted in the crowd, "That's right, there's something wrong. Check Lu Yu, he must have cheated." Lu Xiao's underlings followed suit and shouted, "Big brother is right. That guy must have cheated. Investigate him. What are you pretending to be? Is cheating interesting? The first place should belong to big brother Zhao Kai. Brother Kai's bloodline is passed down from ancient times. How can he be worse than this guy?" The noise in the crowd was unceasing, giving Xianya a headache. She looked at Lu Yu and found that he still had his eyes closed, quietly feeling the enlightenment brought by the stone tablet. Then, she looked at the freshmen and shouted, "Everyone, be quiet. I can assure you there is no problem with the stone tablet." These four types of elemental energy came from Lu Yu's body. That the freshmen all quieted down. The dean of the Elemental Academy had personally said so. It would be disrespectful if they dared to refute her once more. After all, Xianya had guarded the stone tablet for decades and knew much more than them. Everyone looked at Lu Yu seriously, quietly observing his next move. At this moment, Zhao Kai's eyes were wandering about, unable to accept what had just happened. Initially, he was still immersed in the joy of his fire element. Now that he was told the fire element he was so proud of was not his, he found it hard to accept that the accompanying bloodline he was proud of was not worth mentioning anymore. He looked at Lu Yu with hatred and vexation. While all that was happening, Lu Yu closed his eyes tightly and felt the ancient power from the stone tablet from the bottom of his heart. At that moment, the four balls of elemental power began to move slowly. They circled the stone tablet and began to rotate clockwise. The freshmen cried out in surprise when they saw this. These elemental energies are moving. They're spinning. What's going on? Is it Lu Yu's doing? What is he doing? That everyone looked at Lu Yu curiously. But immediately after, the four balls of elemental energy began to spin faster and faster. At the same time, they began to rise in the air. They rose and spun at the same time. Gradually, the four balls of elemental energy began to fuse in the air. The fusion of the four elemental energies turned into a massive ball of light. The ball of light kept changing and twisting, and gradually, it condensed into a colossal eye. The colossal eye hovered in the air, staring at everyone. Such a phenomenon shocked everyone present. What? What happened? What's going on? I don't understand, but I'm shocked. It seems like there has never been such a situation in the entire history of Clanorth University. I have no idea what's going on. What did it merge to become? Xianya looked at the strange phenomenon before her with a serious expression. She had been the dean for decades, but this was the first time she had seen such a situation. She was looking forward to what Lu Yu was going to do next. Lu Yu suddenly opened his eyes. His pupils had turned vertical, and his pair of eyes had changed to look exactly like a dragon. Lu Yu was taken aback by what had happened. He had just learned the true power of this stone tablet dating back to ancient times. He had also awakened the power from ancient times and obtained the eye of the dragon god. His pair of eyes seemed to be able to see through everything in the world. The power of the dragon god was fully displayed in Lu Yu's eyes. When he opened his eyes, everyone present trembled. They felt intense and immense pressure, making them not even dare to breathe loudly. Other than admiration, there was only fear in their eyes when they looked at Lu Yu. Lu Yu closed his eyes and returned to his normal state. He retracted his hands. At this moment, an evolution panel suddenly popped up: Flaming Dragon Claw, Explosive Dragon Claw, Flowing Water Dragon Claw, Ice Dragon Claw, Gale Dragon Claw, Thunder Dragon Claw, Awakened, Rock Crushing Dragon Claw, Diamond Dragon Claw, Awakened, Light Dragon Claw, Holy Dragon Claw, Dark Dragon Claw, Undead Dragon Claw. Lu Yu saw the difference. The Gale Dragon Claw and the Rock Crushing Dragon Claw have completed their awakening. It was as if a lock had been unlocked. Lu Yu could now evolve the Gale Dragon Claw or the Rock Crushing Dragon Claw. Moreover, the material list needed for the evolution appeared at the bottom, making it easy to see. Lu Yu was overjoyed as he could continue to evolve his dragon claws. Since the second and third types had already been awakened and could be evolved, would the remaining ones be far away? All in all, Lu Yu had gained a lot from sensing the stone tablet. His strength had increased once again. Xianya finally saw some clues as to what was going on. She looked at Lu Yu thoughtfully and said, "Lu Yu, you can control the power of these four elements simultaneously. Moreover, you cultivated it to such a powerful level. This is not something an ordinary person can do. An ordinary person cannot cultivate fire elemental and water elemental powers at the same time. But there is an exception, which is to have a type of constitution, and that is the elemental body. With the elemental body, you can have unlimited attainments in elemental powers." As soon as these words were said, the freshmen present cried out in surprise. Elemental body? Such a special constitution appeared on Lu Yu. I thought his defense, offense, or speed was already insane. I never expected him to be even more terrifying when it comes to the elemental powers. It's over. With such a strong overall force he possesses, he will definitely be the first in the next 2 academies trials. A future leader, I must hurry up and honor him. An elemental body. I would love to have it even if it was just in my dreams. Everyone looked at Lu Yu with envious eyes and felt like they had eaten a lemon. Lu Yu had heard of the elemental body. This unique constitution enables the person to be intimate with all the possible elements. With this constitution, the fire element could coexist with the water element. However, Lu Yu felt that his constitution was not the elemental body as the difference was too great.